Good day and welcome to yet another episode of Woman to Woman with me, Patricia Nkwani, a show where we discuss issues that are of concern to women. We empower, inspire, and enlighten one another. Today on our talk show, we are talking life after divorce. And join me as I'll be having conversation on this amazing topic. There are some challenges in life that have the ability to redefine the whole of your entire life. And some such challenge is living a life after divorce. And today on studio, I'm not alone. I'm joined by Mep Ilo as we'll be discussing life after divorce. Join us as we talk this topic. Hey Mep Ilo, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am awesome.
Always in and outside the country.
Always in and outside of the country.
Yeah. Today on our show we are talking life after divorce. Yeah. It's a topic that has been on my mind for quite too long because we see a lot of women that used to live stable life and all of a sudden they get divorced and then life goes all the way from here to down. And then it becomes difficult for a lot of women to recover and refigure themselves up and keep soaring like they used to. But then we see women like you that we appreciate so much, that have been through the same journey, but have been able to find themselves up and to redefine themselves and to become. Right. So I just want us to start this conversation. I just want us for you to take us through the story of your divorce and how you got to where you got to find yourself, because I understand at some point you had to even transfer the kids and go back into your mother's house and everything. I just want you to take us through all that. Yeah.
Divorce is a very life-changing experience for everyone. And obviously when we all first say our I do's, you know, we don't say them expecting to eventually part.
Yeah.
But you know, life happens and sometimes things happen not according to your plan. But definitely there is life after divorce. I got married in 2006.
Yeah.
And I have 2 beautiful kids from my marriage. The marriage, it wasn't working, didn't work out. So much happened, you know, we're just not getting along. And then after a while, we both decided that it would be best if we go our separate ways. It was very tough, you know, because obviously, you know, you live together, you become one, everything is shared, finances, expenses, also the kids, because divorce, where the kids are concerned, it becomes even more complicated.
Yeah.
You know, one of the reasons that led us to divorce was financial constraint as well. Which I think is one of the biggest causes of divorce. People divorce a lot because of financial issues. Because now, you know, when finances get into the marriage, if you're not strong, if you don't stand strong, you will definitely separate. So for us, it was tough because when we divorced, we were going through divorce and we were also going through financial problems.
Yeah.
So there was debts, there was, you know, all sorts. So basically everything was just, you know, going downfall. And it was so painful because, like you mentioned, I had to move back to my mom's house with the kids. And he also had to make his own plan because we lost the house in the process. It was tough, but I had to be strong, not only for myself, but for the kids as well. My first daughter, I think it was more painful for her because she was older and she had lived with mom and dad. You know, with my son, it wasn't as hectic because he was younger. So I don't think it really affected him as much as the older one. So we moved back to mom's and, you know, the kids were worried, they were confused. And we had to change them schools. So basically there was a change in lifestyle altogether. Altogether. And it was, besides dealing with the pain of the actual divorce, your divorce is a stigma. Once hella, meolo divorce, there's that name tag.
You're titled.
Yeah, you are titled, exactly. So you move around, people judge you, people make their own conclusions, and you obviously shy away. Divorce really, it affects your self-esteem. So, you feel guilty, you feel like it's your fault, you feel like you failed, you feel like you failed the kids, you feel like you failed your family. So, it's hard. You need to be strong, you need to talk about it, you need to get help, you need to accept, and yeah.
Yeah, earlier on you mentioned that you had to be strong, but then one of the things that worries me about us women, we have a tendency, if I could say tendencies, of laying visages and then pretending to be fine because we are trying to cover up or to stand in the gap for our children, for our families, and then the bigger question is, when you were at that moment, were you really at your strongest point, or was it just an expectation that comes with it? I'm a mother, I have to hold it on for my children. I'm a woman, I have to stand in the gap. I'm a daughter, I have to stand in for my parents as well.
For me, I think when I eventually walked out of the marriage, it was something that I had been dealing with inside the marriage. So I can say when I eventually walked out, I had dealt with it when I was still inside. That is why I think when I eventually came out, it wasn't as hard, because I would say my marriage long ended while I was still inside. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So when I actually walked out, it was actually, the marriage had long ended.
You signing what has already been.
Yes, yeah. And, it was hard. It was hard, and every night I would pray and say, God, give me strength. Because like you're saying, I think first is the pretense stage where you pretend you're okay, and you tell yourself, no, okay, sharp, but deep down, there's that hurt.
It's wrecking you, yeah.
Yes, but I think for me, my relationship with God, I'd kneel down and say, God, give me strength during this trying time. God, give me strength during this trying time. And then the moment I eventually decided to accept, I think also another thing is accepting.
Accepting.
We all were in denial, and then Hamota was like, is it true? You don't know whether to pretend like, no, it's So I think for me, what really helped me was, besides praying for strength, was accepting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to go for a short commercial break, my lady. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to discuss and to continue with our conversation here.
Hi, I'm Tizzle, and I'll be your chef for this show, Let's Cook. Join me as I take you on a culinary journey as we learn new techniques, new methods, and new ways to cook all your favorite foods. You're gonna have a blast with this one. So please, join us on channel 291 Maru TV.
Sa re kgarintsweng bopela batla ba siane pitso e ka kwano pitso e mo kgwana tsa setso a mo rutetsi wa tsa ngwao mo sireletsi wa tsa ngwao ngwao jalo ya setso bonatlhe dijo tse ke di lebileng tsa setso bonatlhe poko e ntle bonatlhe mmino bonatlhe kapari thulaganyo yone ke yone e leng gore jalo e go ritibolela tsotlhe a ona le lenyora la kitso ya tsone tsa Setswana a ona le sepehela se leng gore re ka se batlela mo go tswa Setswana le selo le la setso ra le loga o le loga jalo le nna moshimane mo kokoto motona o ra tshenyego khotso jalo moshimane o tswang go ntse lo sekolo dithonamo ye ke go rang kere le bella thulaganyo ye ka thamalalo mo Maru TV tshipilitshipi gone ya
this is the biggest show in Africa
Yep.
of urban gospel. So some of the segments that we have, one being Unashamed. Unashamed is basically where we get a platform and the social ills that we face, and so that you guys can benefit from that.
Yeah, and we also have Game Changers. Game Changers are basically your ordinary dreamers.
Yeah.
People who are making a difference out there in their community.
Yeah, and lastly, we'll have a segment called Africa Rise. Africa Rise is one of the segments which is really close to my heart. This is where we deal with music, and basically we get 3 exclusive songs where we just give them to you guys and we profile the artists behind the music.
Chula to the radio station Jamana.
You not copy what you can taste. That's why I
Let's wa born na khona boto. Gabilon in my city.
Hey Africa, what it do? It's your boy Croft signing in from Zimbabwe, and you're tuned in to the recap with DJ Riley on Maru TV, DSTV channel 291. Salute.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's your favorite TV talk show here with me, Patricia Ngwani. And today on Woman to Woman, we are talking life after divorce. And as usual, I'm not alone. I'm joined here by the beautiful Pelo to talk about this topic. Well, right before the break, Mepelo, we talked about the challenges that you had to face in your divorce. There's a saying that I don't want to say I like it, but that I know, that says when the elephant fights, it's the grass that suffers. And that means to say in a situations that you find yourself, you would feel I'm okay, and that one also is okay. We made a decision. We decided to part. But then the bigger question is, how has this affected the children in your own perspective?
You know, I really wish there would never be divorce where kids are involved. It's a sad reality that, you know, sometimes life leads you to end up divorcing. And it really affects the kids. And we need to, it's a very sensitive issue. And sometimes a lot of parents, because they themselves are hurting and they're, you know, trying to move on with life, they often neglect the kids. They neglect the kids' feelings, or they neglect to keep the kids up to par with what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, 1 minute daddy's not there, then the next thing la move on, and nothing is said to the kids. That is very bad, because then it affects the kids internally. You know, they move on, they've got so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
So with me, in the beginning, I was very scared to even talk of divorce with my kids. Like, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know whether it was the right age or not. It was really freaking me out. And I was also scared that maybe I would burst out, like I would, you know, react and maybe start crying, and I didn't want to show them that part. But with time, you know, I especially with my daughter, I took time, I sat down with her, you know, I spoke to her, asked her how she was feeling about it, you know, and she, you know, luckily she opened up.
Yeah.
You know, she opened up, and slowly but surely we started talking. Now we talk freely about it. You know, she tells me obviously that it was never, she never wanted mommy and daddy to be apart.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, she's okay, she's healing.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think the best thing that I did for my children, the best thing that we did with our father, was to keep a very good relationship. You know, and I think I'd advise anyone out there going through divorce that the best gift you can do for your kids is keep that relationship going. Myself and our father, we've got an amazing relationship. We've never even fought. Whenever we fight, we made sure that we fight without the kids present. So they've never felt any, as much as we're not together, we're not living together, but when we are together, you know, it's...
But just not to you know, if I could go into the one of keeping good relationships, it's, mind you, it's not all of us that divorces on good grounds. some of us are still harboring the anger, the resentment, the pain. How do I then go and say, for the sake of my kids, I'm just going to try and maintain a relationship with this person that I'm actually angry because for some time I believed we were working into something that would take us to till death do us part. For some moment I sacrificed the whole of me into believing this is my happily ever after, and I'm still angry about it. But then how do I go into saying, okay, fine, for the sake of the kids, we are going to create a relationship that's healthy for the kids?
It's not an easy thing to do, but because of these innocent souls, it must be done. You know, it's one of those things that you need to tell yourself that I'm not going to be selfish. One, we've brought these kids into this world. So you put your feelings aside, and then for the sake of co-parenting, for the sake of peace, for the sake of stability, for the sake of the future of the kids. Because what you do right now will affect the kids later. So the best thing you can do, you put your feelings aside and then you put these kids first. And then, I mean, it's not even, you just need to get along for that time. It doesn't mean you need to, you know, call each other and, you know, have a relationship, but just when you're talking about the kids or when the kids are around, which is not all the time, just for that moment, you know,
But
you keep your
isn't that
peace.
pretense? Like seriously, there is a man that I hate with with everything in me. I feel like I wasted my time. And then there are two little boys. For a moment, babies want dinner with dad. And then I have to just put on a face.
It's not pretense. You must do it. I mean, if you could, you lived with this man in one roof at some stage, and you managed to bring these beautiful beings. So you must get over that anger, get over that pain for the sake of the kids. And plus, you know, with kids, there's so much they're still going to get married and you need to be together. They're going to graduate. There's school plays. There's so many, they can get sick.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need each other.
Awesome.
So you need to really get over that, you know,
For the sake
for
of
the
the
sake
kids.
of the kids, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there are times, you know, it's every desire of every girl or every woman to say, when I reach a state where I have to leave my mother's house and become a woman that she has, you know, birthed me to become. We don't look forward into going back. Like, seriously, I haven't left my mother's house to go get married, but I know I'm not looking back into going into her house. How did it make you feel to now have to go into your mother's house?
Oh, going back to my mother's house, I think was one of the worst things because, you know, the first thing is you're a failure. You failed. You know, so you failed at life. So you must go back home. You know, it's moving to a smaller place, it's better, but going back, koha mama, you know, and obviously when you get koha mama, you know, you're a child
You're
again.
becoming a child again.
You're a child again, you know, and you're coming in with your kids and you can't really, now the rules get a mama, so you don't even, how could you see bana like you want because you call a piñano.
Hold that thought. Just hold it right there. We're going to go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back after the break to continue in this conversation that we're having right here. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Tizzle, and I'll be your chef for this show, Let's Cook. Join me as I take you on a culinary journey as you learn new techniques, new methods, and new ways to cook all your favorite foods. You're gonna have a blast with this one. So please, join us on channel 291 Maru TV.
sa re kgarintsweng bopela ba tla ba siane pitso e ka kwano pitso e mo kgwana tsa setso a o morutetsi wa tsa ngwao mosireletsi wa tsa ngwao ngwao jalo ya setso bonatlhe dijo tse ke di lebileng tsa setso bonatlhe poko e ntle bonatlhe mmino bonatlhe kapari thulaganyo yone ke yone e leng gore jalo e go ritibollela tsotlhe a ona le lenyora la kitso ya tsone tsa Setswana a ona le sepehela se leng gore re ka se batela mo go tsa Setswana le selo le la setso ra le loga o le loga jalo le nna moshimane o mokokoto motona o ra tshenyego khotso jalo moshimane o tswang kontse lo sekolo dithonamo ye ke go rang kere le bella thulaganyo ye ka thamalalo mo Maru TV tshipile tshipi gone ya.
This is the biggest show in Africa
Yep.
of urban gospel. So some of the segments that we have, one being Unashamed. Unashamed is basically where we get a platform and the social ills that we face, and so that you guys can benefit from that.
Yeah, and we also have Game Changers. Game Changers are basically your ordinary dreamers.
Yeah.
People who are making a difference out there in that community.
Yeah, and lastly, we'll have a segment called Africa Rise. Africa Rise is one of the segments which is really close to my heart. This is where we deal with music, and basically we get 3 exclusive songs where we just give them to you guys and we profile the artists behind the music.
Chula to the radio station
Do
Jamana.
not copy what you can hate. That's why I
Let's wa born na khona poto. Gabilon in my city.
Hey Africa, what it do? It's your boy Croft signing in from Zimbabwe, and you're tuned in to the recap with DJ Riley on Maru TV, DSTV channel 291. Salute.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's your favorite TV talk show, Woman to Woman, here with me, Patricia Nkwani. And before the break, we are talking today, life after divorce. And as usual, I'm not alone. I'm joined here by the phenomenal, beautiful woman, Mepelo, to discuss this amazing topic. Mepelo, before we went for a break, we were talking about how you had to now find yourself back in your mother's house, right? You know, the thing that I don't know if I would say that bothers me most. We have women that had like gotten into marriage, and then all of a sudden they were living the so-called life, a good life. And then divorce happens, and then we find them now back in the village. And a lot of them were not able to now dust themselves up and become who they've always been or who they were destined to become. How were you able to still defy the odds, to say, I might have gotten to my mother's house, which the society might consider to be a fail, but I'm going to go out there and sow and become the Pelo I've always wanted to be?
Going back home, rising up is never easy for anyone. I think for me, what really helped me was one, support system. I had a very strong support system. Even being back at home, you know, my mom was very supportive. She welcomed us, and you know, every day she'd encourage me and tell me that, you know, this is not the end of the world. So I think finding a strong support system is very important. You know, and also I have sisters that were also very there for me and very supportive as well. So I would advise someone out there, you know, who's going through what I've gone through, that, you know, when you find yourself in a situation like that, it's very important to get a very strong support system. You know, not only family, but friends, you know, people from church, you know, just people surrounding you. So support system is key. 2, for me also, another thing that really helped me was Mudimo. You know, and this is a time during my divorce, during moving back home, this is the time where I really got intimate with God. That is the time where my relationship with God increased. So I think God, praying, the Bible, that also really helped me a lot. Yeah.
You know, the society on its own, Botswana, we are people that are very cultural. And our society has its own expectation on a woman, on a girl child. And there are times where we are considered failures because of certain things or certain decisions that we felt were key or that we felt were important at some point in time. And so many people are caught up in this because they made a decision to say, I'm going to walk out of this. And then the society tackled you something or labeled you something. As for you as Mepelo, how were you able to defy the odds, to say, I might seem like I failed at these, or people might actually just say it to my face to say you failed as a woman, as a wife, you know. How were you able to now defy the odds to say, I know the society knows me at this, but I'm still going to continue to become me and to continue to sow in me this way?
I think I could have gotten out of my marriage sooner. But the reason why I didn't get out sooner was because of what you're saying. I was scared of the title. I was scared of what people will say. And that made me stay in the marriage longer. And also one of my fears was the kids, you know, I'm going to stay in my marriage for the sake of the kids. Yeah. But then after a while, I decided that, you know what, at the end of the day, it's not about what people say. Yes, people will label me divorcee, return soldier, whatever it is, you know, and they'll say that bit. But at the end of the day, it's about my happiness. You know, if I'm not happy, I cannot keep the kids happy. So when I decided to walk, I said, you know what, yes, people will say whatever it is that they want to say, but at the end of the day, it's for my sanity, it's for my peace, and for the sake of the kids.
The kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if me keeping the kids in a marriage that's not healthy, that's not where there's no love, peace, there's no point. They get affected anyway, you know. And now, you know, I can testify and say my kids now, having gone through it, they are happier then because they've got happy parents than when we were in the marriage and unhappy. Yeah.
Yeah, I do get that. But if I could just ask, believe me, this one is not within the script. It's just out of my own curiosity.
Okay.
Out of my own curiosity, personal curiosity. Do we see you getting married again?
Of course, definitely, of course. I remember when I had just gotten out of marriage, people used to always say that to me. And I'd say, yes, I am going to get married one day. And, you know, people were shocked and said, but, you know, after you've just gotten out of a marriage that was not so good, why would you want to get married again? But the answer is, I believe in marriage. You know, marriage is a beautiful thing. You know, it doesn't mean if my first one didn't work out, my second one won't work out, or yours will not work out. You understand? So I strongly, strongly believe in marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and if you meet up with your soulmate, you know, it's the best thing that could ever happen.
Awesome. Now to wrap up our beautiful show, I just want you to look at the camera and just empower a woman out there that might be thinking, I've went through the divorce. I'm trying by all means to heal, but I still can't find myself out. I'm trying to become, but I don't know where to set my next foot or where to go, where to turn. Or even a woman that is still caught up in a very dysfunctional marriage and they're thinking, if I leave this place, what would people think of me? I just want you to just share a word of motivation and just face your camera and just speak and empower a woman out there.
I'd like to say to a woman out there going through divorce that divorce is not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. There is definitely life after divorce. You know, and I think it all starts in the mindset. If you tell yourself that, you know what, you've closed one chapter and now a new one is about to open, trust you me, you will sail through.
Awesome. Just in one sentence, your word of inspiration to a girl child that is watching this and thinking, I would want to get married as well.
Marriage is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and God loves marriage. So there's blessings that come with marriage, you know. So I encourage everyone out there to get married.
Thank you so much, Pelo, for gracing our show. I'm really humbled. Thank you so much. And to you, my woman out there, it is often said pain is inevitable, but the struggle is optional. You choose to lie there, or you can still choose to stand up, to dust yourself, and to become the best version of yourself. Whatever that might had happened was not the end of you. I know you can become, when you choose to become the best version of yourself. So just to wrap up my show, I just want to take a moment and just thank Kinross for sponsoring us with this beautiful place that you see in our show almost every day, and to also appreciate Prestige Flair for sponsoring us with these beautiful dresses. And like I always say, women, do get yourself a Prestige Flair dress. See you again on the next episode of Woman to Woman, and thank you.